lifting, there's a lot of going, whenever you get to competition and even during the build season, the robot can weigh up to 120 pounds. So it's really important that whenever you guys have to lift the robot, that you're doing it with 3 or 4 people and that you're practicing proper lifting techniques. So again, if you have somebody that's a designated safety captain, they can come up with new ideas and ways to implement being safe all the time. And that kind of stuff that you can come up with in ways of showing that to other people, whether it's through a video or a slideshow presentation, that sort of stuff that you can bring to competition and show the judges as they walk around will really set you apart from the other teams. So just something to keep in mind. Make sure that all the students know about the different machine tools that are available for them to use, how to operate them, different ways to ensure that when you're using them, don't have the blade too high. Make sure that you're using, like if you're using a table saw or a bandsaw, make sure that you're using a push stick to push that piece of wood through. You're not using your thumb. So just little things like that. Sometimes you just need to stop and think, is this the right tool for the job? So kind of think about your approach, think about how you want to communicate this stuff to the students, and develop a plan and go from there. Visual pictures work really well. Sometimes it helps to have something that the students can recognize. This is how not to use a bandsaw. Really close to the blade, fingers are too close to the blade, the hair's down. This is a little bit proper technique. Hair's up in a bun. She's away from, not leaning into the blade. Again, try to figure out what tools you're going to be using and come up with the proper techniques to use those tools and share them with the students as well as the mentors. We have some really talented mentors on our team, and some of them are very skilled at using machine tools. I'm not one of them. I'm okay. I can push the button and turn it off, and I'm good at handing screwdrivers to people. So a lot of it is just recognizing your talents, and even if there's kids that don't really care to use power tools and stuff like that, that's not the only thing to do on the team. There's a lot of fundraising, project management's a big thing. So, and some people say, well, robots, there's just a bunch of guys on the team. Obviously, if you look in the room, that's not the case. Our team is probably 50-50 right now, and there's quite a few teams that come up from in Portland last year that are nothing but all-girl teams. And they tear it up. I mean, they know what's going on, and they don't take any business from anybody. They do a great job. So it's great that it's not just a guy thing. It's a balanced or all-girl team, and everyone possesses amazing amounts of talent. And this program is really designed so that anybody can excel and learn and figure out what they want to do in life. I mean, there's so many aspects of FIRST that you can do: project engineering, robotics, mechanical, electrical. There's so many different things you can figure out what you want to do in high school before you even get out. So it's a great program. Another picture of what not to do. This is my son. He's kind of a goofball. So it helps to have visuals. Another thing, long hair. If you have long hair, wear it back. If it gets caught in a drill or something like that, that hair can get ripped out of your head really fast, or it can catch on clothing. So, and just the basic techniques of when you're done with the drill, what's a proper way to leave it? Should you leave it standing straight up? No, probably not, because it can fall over, can break the drill bit. Best thing to do is leave it down on its side. And again, having pictures and visuals will kind of help people remember. And it's easier to convey something, for me anyway, if I see a picture of what it's supposed to look like rather than if someone just describes it. Because everyone else receives information differently and processes it. So, Spills, most of the things that we work with, they're not really toxic, but and all the batteries that we have in our robots are sealed. So the important thing is just to recognize the stuff we work with. If it spills, how we go about cleaning it up and making sure that we're always operating in a safe environment. Safety Award. The Safety Award is presented by Underwriters Laboratory, and it's an award that that celebrates a team that progresses beyond the normal safety requirements and fundamentals by innovative ways to eliminate or protect against hazards. So I mentioned about safety tokens. These are pins that are handed out to teams that finish in the top, I think, 3 for having safe practices and getting recognized for that during the competition. One of the things to keep in mind is that sometimes when you're in a hurry and your robot breaks and you got to be back out on the floor in 10 minutes, sometimes you cut corners, not intentionally, because you want to get it done and it's going to be real quick, and sometimes that's how injuries happen. And sometimes whenever you rush, you forget to do basic things like make sure the power is turned off on the robot, or just little stuff like that. So, and again, if you have somebody that's dedicated to being a safety captain, that's what they're always focusing on. So they're not necessarily focusing on who am I partnering up with on the next match, or I'm driving the robot the next match, or I gotta do this, or I gotta do that. They're focusing on making sure that everyone's operating in a safe environment and that everyone is always practicing safe machine and tool practices. So just something important to consider. It's very important that if you have somebody on the team, some teams are really short-handed and they don't have a lot of students, so lots of people are stacking up and doing multiple things. But if you have the opportunity to dedicate someone to be a safety captain, and I'll get kind of more into what that entails in a minute, it's strongly encouraged and recommended. And a lot of this information is up on the FIRST website. If you go to www.usfirst.org, they have all kinds of information. So events, awards, documents and updates. They have a whole bunch of stuff, but out under the documents and updates, there's a section on safety. And again, this stuff will be available. Kevin Ross will post it up on the web. But they have the safety manual that you can download. And so, I started passing this around. So go ahead and pass it around and look at it. But it has everything that you need to make sure that you have with you at all times during the build season as well as competition. And go out there periodically and check for updates. Also, on this site, Kevin Ross had mentioned about colleges. Bless you. Colleges donate FIRST donates over $12 million a year to seniors for colleges. So if you're a senior, make sure that you're always going out there to check, because there's always new schools that are adding. And juniors can even apply for earlier scholarships as well. So it's a really neat opportunity. Safety manual. Again, it's strongly recommended that you have all team members go over and read it at least once. And know where it is. There's a lot of good and useful information in there. There's also some checklists that you need to go through prior to competition. I think it was our first year of competition, we had our safety manual, and the judges came by and we gave it to them. It's like, that's great, nice binder and everything, but you didn't fill anything out. Oh, we were too busy. It's like, we'll fill it out later. So don't wait until the last minute. And even the most experienced teams forget the little stuff. So, and it wasn't a big deal. It's just making sure we had everything and all of our checkoff sheets and everything signed by the appropriate people. It's not real hard stuff. It's just one little detail that in the collection of everything sometimes gets left out. So make sure you go through that, print it out. We usually have 2 or 3 copies around the shop at all times. Make sure people know where they are. And we usually carry 1 or 2 with us to competitions. So you can use, if you're doing multiple competitions, you can still have the same safety manual, just print out new checkoff sheets on the inside whenever you go to the next competition.